Hi, and welcome to my presentation on student internet speech. I'm going to take you through the presentation kind of quickly and explain what I would do for my professional development. I'm displaying the project using Prezi. All right, fantastic. I would start out the professional development with the different teachers or administrators sitting in table groups. And at first, I would give them a scenario. The scenario is that they hear a group of students giggling before school, and they're all looking at one student's cell phone. And the teacher confiscates the cell phone, looks at it, and it's a website mocking another teacher, so one of your colleagues. So the question is, what would a teacher or what would they in this situation do about it? So I would give them about 5 minutes to talk about this amongst themselves. I'm sure some teachers would like to go to punishment, others would refer to administrators and things like that. But this professional development would look what are actually some of the legal issues surrounding this and what can and cannot be done in a school setting. From there, I would display the First Amendment to kind of show them the basis for which the different laws and cases have been made. So kind of the big case that deals with this is Tinker versus Des Moines School District in 1969. It's the famous Vietnam black armband case. And what I really want to put across in this professional development is that the two prongs of this case really apply to most any case when it comes to student internet speech. Number one, is there a substantial disruption caused in the school by the speech? And also, does the speech violate the rights of others? Of course, this case was in terms of clothing, so it's going to be a little bit different when we get to student internet speech, but still the basis is going to come from this case. There are certain kinds of speech that are not protected. For example, lewd or profane speech, school-sponsored speech like a newspaper, speech promoting any kind of drug use, and also any kind of hate speech is not protected. When it gets off campus, this is where it really gets sticky. Students generally have more protection off campus than they would on campus, and schools can really only punish off campus speech that affects the orderly operation of the school. And because of this, most cases the courts rule in favor of the student's protected speech because it can be very hard for the school to prove that it really affected the orderly operation of the school. When it gets to internet speech, there are actually no Supreme Court cases that deal directly with student online speech. There have been a lot of lower court cases, but they've been really inconsistent and kind of ruled on both sides and even in between. And this is obviously a growing issue at schools, especially since some schools are allowing smartphone access within the school or laptops or iPads or things like that. Students have increasing amounts of use of technology in school, at home. People can view posts from home at school. Just brings up a lot of issues that the teachers at this professional development will be very familiar with. So what I'm going to really emphasize at this professional development is looking at student internet speech in two steps. The first one is there any kind of a threat in this speech? Like a threat to injure students, a threat to injure teachers, a threat that's sent through a text message, a blog post, social media. Because if there is a threat, then we're possibly dealing with even more than a school issue. We are dealing with a legal issue, and there may be legal action that can be taken. Usually, this is not a case that there's a serious threat. Usually, things fall more under step number two, and that's trying to find if the student's speech is causing a substantial disruption inside the school. If that is the case, the school is allowed to take disciplinary action, for example, suspending a student or something like that. But in most cases, schools fail to prove that the speech was actually disrupting the classroom environment. Cyberbullying is another thing. Several states have passed cyberbullying laws that could include stalking, threats, harassment, impersonation, humiliation, trickery, and exclusion. On-campus cyberbullying is usually treated the same way as regular bullying and would fall under that policy. But when it's off-campus, it's really going to use the Tinker test and follow the steps that I just went through. Is this a threat? Does it disrupt behavior inside the school? And the states with cyberbullying laws may have additional legal consequences for students. But states that don't, it really does still stick on those two questions. Is there a threat? And is it disrupting behavior within the school? From this point, I'm going to have the teachers go through a bunch of scenarios, really using those two different steps when determining what to do about a off-campus speech case or even an on-campus internet speech case. And so I'll provide them with a worksheet with 4 different scenarios. Their table group will read through those scenarios, and then they'll come up with what they think the appropriate action should be. When we're done with that, I'm going to go ahead and go through those scenarios as a big group. I'll call on different groups to see what they would do in the situation, and then we'll look at similar case law to the cases that I give them to see what the courts have actually ruled in these cases. Finally, I finished the presentation with a frequently asked questions section about laws of cyberbullying against teachers, not against students, and there actually are not any in the United States. In the United Kingdom, they're actually getting ready to pass a law that would make cyberbullying against a teacher illegal, but right now there's none in the United States. And then the big question is going to be, what should a regular education classroom teacher do if they come across an inappropriate post? And so I kind of tackle it from the position of being on campus on a school-run platform, but also on the off-campus, in an off-campus environment. Finally, I list my references at the end. They're listed throughout the presentation, but a more formal reference is listed at the end. I would have also these slides printed out for the teachers at the professional development so they can refer back to it and kind of look at the case law surrounding these issues. Well, thanks for listening to my presentation. I'll look forward to your feedback and anything that you think I should add or take out of this presentation. Thank you very much.